Okay, so now let's pick up with the 45-degree angles. If I have an angle that was 45 degrees, oops, I know that an angle measure of 135 degrees would also have a reference angle of 45. I know an angle of 225 degrees would also have a reference angle of 45 degrees, and I know an angle measure of 315 degrees would also have a reference angle of 45 degrees. So I need some room. Now I'm going to get rid of my face, just like that. So, since I know that I have 45 degrees out of possible 180 degrees, and that's the same as having r degrees or r radians over pi radians, then same strategy. I just need to simplify my fraction and use that to go ahead and solve for r. And because I am a giant nerd, I know that 45 divided by 180 is just 1/4. If not, verify it for yourself. Would equal r over pi, multiply both sides by pi, goes away. So then I get pi over 6. I need a little more room. Okay. So this one gets me pi over 4, even though I think I just said pi over 6. But it should be pi over 4. So I'm going to repeat the process, but now I'm going to replace the 135, the 45 with the 135. And because I'm a giant nerd, I know that 45 times 3 produces 145. So then 135 over 180 produces 3/4 multiplied by pi gets me that. And I'm just going to keep flexing on you guys. I know that 225 is 45 multiplied by 5, so I get 5/4. Multiply that by pi. This one comes out to 5 pi over 4. And when I talk about 315, 315 is just 45 times 7. So this one comes out to 7 pi over 4. And just like last video, the whole purpose of this is to help you find a pattern, to help you know these and know these conversions so you can identify the reference angles. So 45 degrees is the same as pi over 4. So think about what all the angles that have a reference angle of pi over 4, what do they all have in common, right? We're talking about this, this, and this. How could I tell that these would have a reference angle of pi over 4? And think about in what quadrants would I expect to find each of these angles. And when I talk about the angles, I'm talking about the angles in radians now, because I want you to be more comfortable with these radians. Next video, we'll talk about the 60-degree family.